All right. So last week we talked about the Ratta Vinita Sutta, the relay of the chariots. We read at least partially of the suttas, and hopefully that you have gone through all the suttas. Now the whole purpose is that we want to bring out the seven purification, and that seven purification, by going through one by one or develop them one by one, we will able to realize Nibbana. So as according to the earlier one or two talks ago, I mentioned that it's not only the cessation of dukkha, this is important, but we also have to know how the cessation of dukkha is arrived, how the path of that progress arrived to a cessation of dukkha. And also we have to know what is the cessation of dukkha, and also we need to know what comes after the cessation of dukkha. So that is important for the reason is that at least next time when you go out, when you're out there, when you listen to talks and so on, then you are not so get caught with all kinds of nibbana this and nibbana that. Because sometimes they don't talk about how the whole achievement, how the whole progress is developed. Then they have all kinds of nibbana, all kinds of interpretation of nibbana. So it is good that we understand this Ratta Vinita Sutta, the relay of the chariots, and we see how this purification takes place. And with that purification, it comes with the insight knowledge of vipassana. So we will go back to the screen sharing on the last week that we did. Okay. Hold on. All right. Now, so in the Ratta Vinita Sutta, that the seventh purification here, purification of virtue, of mind, of views, by overcoming doubt, by knowledge and vision of path, and not path, by knowledge and vision of the way, and by knowledge of vision. Then you have Nibbana without clinging. So last week also we talked about it until we talk about what is purification of virtue. I mean virtue and mind. We're going to talk about that another talk, future. But now we are talking about purification of view, how the view is being purified, and what is the meaning in the sense of insight knowledge. So purification of view is the knowledge of discernment of mind and matter. And you have number 2, by overcoming doubt here, knowledge of discernment of condition. Number 3 is knowledge of comprehension. And number 4 here, as I said, at number 4a here, around 3 and 4, it is where the 10 imperfections of insight, they are at their optimum strength. They are their optimum strength. So that means that here the traps are very strong in the vipassana, around 3 and 4. So doesn't mean that they don't occur before that. They will still occur, but they will get at the strongest, at the optimum level between 2, 3, and 4. Now, if you are not attached to the corruptions of insight or the imperfections of insight, that means you are not attached, you are not delighted by that light or that tranquility or that zest or joy, and then you are not attached to your own progress, you are not attached to your own mindfulness, attached to your own resolution of the mind, and so on. So if you are not attached to those things, and your job is just to keep noting and noting and noting, then you will come to the knowledge of arising and passing away, the mature type. All right, the mature type of arising and passing away. And then, as I said, that once you can able to understand, or you can free yourself from all the corruptions of insight, then it comes to a stage that you know what is path and what is not path. You know that what is not path is that you don't go attached to all this type of calmness, the bliss, and so on. And you know the path is just to come back to note and pay attention to the arising and passing away and all the material and mental phenomena. So that is exactly what is meant by path and not path. So when it comes into the way, knowledge of vision of the way. Now, once you know what is path and what is not path, then now you know the path. Now you know the way. That is called knowledge and vision of the way. Now, knowledge and vision of the way, there's a number of knowledge inside there. There's a number of knowledge or knowledges inside there. So what is important here is that these knowledges are divided again. You can further subdivide them into anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Okay, you can divide them as anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Now, afterwards, we're going to break them. Which one is anicca? Which one is dukkha? And which one is anatta? All this knowledge from number 1 to all the number 16 or whatever purification, if you want to talk about it, those are changing our perception, changing our wrong perception. And that is, again, I have to stress it again and again, because there's nothing that you do when you begin to meditate. Your defilements will away. You'll be away for a while. The gross defilements will be away for a while. But the latent defilements are not shaken at all. Only when it comes into the path and fruition, then we do something about it. The defilements will be uprooted. Certain defilements will be uprooted. But before that, the latent defilements are not uprooted yet. So it is important that here what we are doing here is the changing of perception. Now, when you go back again, what you mean by changing the perception? And we go back to a little bit on the talk on the self and I. I'm going to remind you again, okay? Now here, the wrong perception that we have every day throughout the samsara, actually, we have these 4 distorted perception. Deception of permanent, of beautiful, and then we have the third one, pleasant or blissful. Then we have the self or soul. These 4 types of, and with these 4 types of wrong perception or distorted perception, then you will come with the wrong thinking, and thinking that this something must be permanent. Then it comes with the wrong view. Then things must be, the God must be permanent. The love must be permanent. Something must be permanent. And then whatever beautiful, blissful, and so on. All these things, they go into all kinds of wrong view. So we have to change that perception. So Vipassana insight straighten the distorted perception into right perception. That is, number 1, perception of impermanence, anicca, overcomes the perception of permanence. You will overcome the perception of permanence. And the perception of unsatisfactoriness or suffering here, dukkha, overcomes the perception of beautiful and pleasant and blissful. Then the third one, perception of non-self, overcomes the perception of the self, soul, or mastery of, you think you can control things. So the whole purpose of Vipassana insight is to change your perception so that from the wrong perception into right perception. Therefore, when you have right perception, it springs up into right thinking. Right thinking springs to right view. Okay? All right. Now, so this is permanent, impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, non-self. So now we're going to look into it in the general aspect. What is impermanent then? What is unsatisfactoriness and what is non-self? To give you a bit of understanding. And then that particular anicca, dukkha, and anatta, then those things will be elaborated in the insight. I will go to the next one. Okay. What is anicca? What is impermanent? The characteristics of impermanent is the mode of arising and passing away and change. That is reaching, wait, something is blocking me. Okay. Reaching existence after having come to be. So this is called, in the Pali, called anicca lakkhana. Characteristics of anicca. What is the characteristic of dukkha? Characteristics of dukkha is the mode of being continuously oppressed by the arising and passing away. When you use the word arising and passing away, you must directly connect to the five aggregates, because all the five aggregates is arising and passing away. So anicca is the mode of arising and passing away and change that is directly connected to five aggregates. So it comes reaching non-existent after having come to be. So characteristic of dukkha is oppressed by that arising and passing away of the five aggregates. Then the characteristics of non-self is the mode of being insusceptible to the exercise of mastery. That is the fact that one cannot exercise complete control over the oppression of the arising and passing away. So anicca, dukkha, anatta, they are all related. So the non-self here, that means you cannot control that arising and passing away, and you will keep on oppressing you while the five aggregates is there. You will keep on oppressing again and again. That's why dukkha is always there, as long as the five aggregates is there. So here, because that, you see, now some of I taken this characteristic of anicca, characteristic dukkha, and non-self is from Bhikkhu Bodhi's comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma. But I changed a number of things inside there to suit the topic here, especially on the non-self part. So the non-self part that you cannot control, there's no mastery over it, over this arising and passing away and the oppression on the arising and passing away. Okay? So it's because that here the Samyutta Nikaya, it said, at Sawati, bhikkhus, form is impermanent. What is impermanent is suffering. What is suffering is non-self. What is non-self should be seen as it really is with correct vision. Thus, this is not mine, this is I am not, this is not myself. When one sees this thus as it really is with correct wisdom, the mind becomes dispassionate and liberated from the taints by non-clinging. So here, this one, a number of times we read about these things, but we do not know how actually it really connected. And then you want to see how it connected. It is where the insight knowledge arises, or the understanding of insight knowledge, at least theoretically. So here, as I said, that in the upper part there, what is anicca, what is arising and what is passing away, and what is change. What is dukkha is continuously oppressed by that arising and passing away. What is non-self? This is you cannot exercise mastery. You cannot control what is that arising and passing away, or then the oppression of that arising and passing away. Okay? All right. So this is to give you a broad understanding of that anicca. When you use the word anicca right now, or dukkha right now, or anatta right now, please kindly don't think of the anicca that you use it like in your everyday life. The everyday life type of anicca, you see something change, or you see the weather change, from cold it become hot, from hot it become cold. Like now some of our fellow devotees here in Zoom, they are in US or Houston. They are facing very cold condition right now. But here in Penang, oh my goodness, it is so hot. It's so hot right now over here. Anyway, this you must not think of those type of change. Although you can generally use it as anicca, but now we're going to use it specifically on connected with the five aggregates on the arising and passing away. And that is important, not just any anicca. Then only you will understand the true nature of anicca. The things that sometimes we use it, take it for granted. We thought that those things are anicca, and we thought that before we get old age and all that. Although those are dukkha, but it's not deep enough for us to get out of samsara. Okay, so it is so much more deeper than that. Okay, we're going to go back to this one. Okay, so now you understand a little bit of this anicca, dukkha, anatta. I got to remove this thing. It's blocking my view. All right. Now, when it comes to the 4B, the knowledge of arising and passing away, as the name says, then therefore it is a knowledge that you see all the phenomena of the five aggregates as arising and passing away. That means it's the perception of anicca. So while you are watching it, seeing this arising and passing away again and again, then in principle, we also call it anicca nupassana. Not just kaya nupassana, chitta nupassana, vedana nupassana, but this time also you can call it anicca nupassana. Just like the word. Let me go back again to this one. Again here. There here. Anicca nupassana. Then you got dukkha nupassana and you got anatta nupassana. The word lakkhana is characteristic. The characteristic of anicca. Anicca nupassana means you seeing it. Anupassana means anu means repeated. Passana means seeing. Anicca means impermanence. That means repeated seeing on that anicca. Anicca dukkha, anicca nupassana, dukkha nupassana, and anatta nupassana. So go back again. Okay. Now we go back again here. Then you can see the knowledge of arising and passing away means that you are seeing this arising and passing away again and 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 again, in order to drill that perception of anicca right into you, and to slowly clear the perception of nicca, or the perception of permanence. Is to clear those things. And you are not seeing it one time or twice. You are going to see it again and again and again and again and again. I repeat this word again and again and again. I mean, the word anupassana here, it means seeing it again and again. But there are, sometimes I've read that sometimes there are certain meditators on the meditating on vipassana. Sometimes they think that they just already see a little bit of, oh, I see this rise and fall a few times already. Oh, ho say liao, I must stick in my book. I see anicca, I see arising and passing away already. Because there you see, here go up, here go down. Here in breath come in, here in breath go out. In breath come in, yeah. What is that? It must be arising and passing away. So arising and passing away, because it happened again and again for a few times now, I pass. I've seen this anicca already. So, okay, now I got knowledge of arising and passing away. I put it aside. Now what's the next knowledge? I want to go and see the knowledge of dissolution. I want to go and see what is there. I'm going to mark it in my book also. That's not the way. That is not the way. That is not the way how we develop the insight. We develop the insight by just sit there or walk there and you start paying attention again and again. And it will show you arising, passing away in all the phenomena that you are observing. Yeah. And again here, and together with all the 4B until 12, all these things. You see, sometimes people fight over whether the rising, falling is the right method, or whether the anapanasati is the right method, or whether the Vedana Nupassana is this right method, whether the Pa'au is this the right method, whether the Going Kaji one is the right method, whether Mahasi one is the right method, whether the Sunlun one is the right method, whether this is the right method or that right method. Sometimes they fight under all these things. I don't fall into those type of debates, because if they able to develop their mindfulness and their concentration, whichever method if they can develop, then they will come back to this four part, all this insight knowledge here. Then we'll come back to all this insight knowledge. You cannot run away. This is a chitta niyama. This is a law of the mind, This is the nature of the mind that if you want to develop into realization of Nibbana, you have to go through all these things. So it doesn't matter what method you do, but as long as you start paying attention and clearly, you will go through all these things. And by the time you reach 4B, when you have a mature arising and passing away, you don't see forms anymore. You don't see whether this is in-breath, out-breath, or this is rising and falling of the abdomen, Because the abdomen doesn't exist. The in-breath, out-breath doesn't, you don't see those forms. You only see arising and passing away. Whether you start off with all this chitta nupassana and so on, the chitta also will show you only arising and passing away. There's no difference between chitta nupassana and also kaya nupassana, or whether you see the forms or you want to see the mind, it doesn't matter. Everything just show you arising and passing away only. So there's no point for us to go and debate this and debate that. As long as you really put your effort into it, you really develop, then you will come into all these things. That time we don't go and debate all this type of who is right and who is wrong, and whether the Mahasi teacher is the right one or not, whether the Pa'au teach one is the right one or a wrong one, whether this one is the right one or wrong. I'm going to fight in all those type of things. And that one is just to put it aside. Now, once you see this knowledge of arising and passing away again and again and again and again, then that time your mind is quite steady. Your faculties, your mental faculties are quite stable. In fact, that this is one of the milestone. The 4B is one of the milestone of your insight, your progress of your insight. The first milestone is at number 1, knowledge of discerning of mind and matter. That means you begin to enter into vipassana. Then as you practice, sometimes in between 2 and 3, bong bong one, you do not know what you are going through, but if you are still meditating and interesting, things are keep going, but you do not know where you are. When you come to 4B, then it's another milestone, because this one is quite clear for a lot of people, because it only shows you arising and passing away. And at time also, your meditation your faculties especially is quite balanced. And you have a smooth front, this time not much of a sleepiness, not much of tiredness, and you have a smooth front, especially at the knowledge of arising and passing away, which is quite an interesting development. So this is another milestone. Another milestone before you get enlightenment is at knowledge number 11, which is knowledge of equanimity towards formation. That one we're going to talk later. So usually these are the milestones. So sometimes in between, all very blur. You do not know what you're doing. All you need to do that something is keep on arising, passing away, changing this one, and all that thing. You do not know how to put label into them also. Anyway, for tonight, we'll just go through some of the things. Now, when it comes to the insight number 5, the knowledge of dissolution. The knowledge of dissolution here, again, you will see this arising and passing away. But this time, the passing away is more prominent than the arising. It's much more prominent than the arising. And everything you see is just only passing away, passing away, passing away. When you sometimes, yogis also may see that the mind also is like passing away. The knowing part is like suddenly it stopped for a while. Then after that, the knowing comes again and stop for a while. The stop, almost towards the end where it stops, then it's very clear arising and passing away. So at times, these things, and also at times, some yogis sees the nature of the mind and the body together. They arise together and they fade away together, or they dissolution together. That means they see a very clear how the fading away or the passing away of the mind and body together. That's why we say that the mind comes together with the mind. When the mind disappears, the body also disappears. That is where you will see it at knowledge number 5, if your mind is sharp enough. Anyway, this is knowledge of dissolution. Now, these two knowledge here is anicca nupassana. It belongs to anicca. You see a lot of anicca. So anicca doesn't mean you have only seeing one way, but it will show you another way also. It will show you just dissolution also. So that part, this two is anicca. First knowledge of discernment of mind and matter, and knowledge of discernment of condition. These two belongs to anatta. Earlier part of the anatta, these two belongs to anatta. Knowledge of comprehension is all the three knowledge comes together. All the three knowledge comes together, but they are not so deep in the sense of anicca yet, but it's already at your kind of like a beginning already, beginning of anicca, beginning of dukkha, and beginning of the anatta. So knowledge of comprehension. But when it comes to knowledge of arising and passing away, knowledge of dissolution, that means the prominent part here is the anicca part. All right? Okay. So then we have knowledge 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 knowledges. If there's a word knowledges for it. Anyway, because of a different knowledge, we just use the word knowledges. Anyway. Now, the 5 knowledges here, this one belongs to dukkha. Perception of dukkha. And each of these dukkha is going to go stronger. It's going to go stronger. It's not much of your leg pain, buttock pain, knee pain. This one is a much more deeper type of dukkha because of oppressed by that arising and passing away. So it's going to connect back to the 4A and 4B. What is knowledge of fearfulness then? So knowledge of fearfulness, it means that because you see this arising and passing away again and again and again and again and again, until you find that there's nothing for you to hold on, nothing for you to attach to, because in the previous part, in your life, you tend to attach to your own beauty, attach to your own, things are nice, you attach to all this joy and pleasant things. And now, when you see these 5 aggregates again and again and again, you begin to get very, very difficult. And every time you pay attention to it, your mind becomes very, as if like you have no platform for you to stand. Because in the past, your platform is your central desire. Is that central desire hold on to you? You feel that something solid there. But now everything is just arising and passing away only. So because of that arising and passing away, now the mind begin to see this arising and passing away as something is really something fearful. Something is not good. Something is terrible to you. So that is why we call knowledge of fearfulness. Then, if that is not enough, then come to knowledge number 7. It becomes even more stronger, the knowledge of, when it comes to knowledge of danger, of knowledge of misery. Here the word, I prefer the word misery better, because it's really miserable inside there. While you are paying attention to all this arising and passing away, all this phenomena of this mind and body, it is going to make the dukkha even more stronger. The perception of dukkha is even more stronger, in the sense that sometimes your objects that you are noticing, let's say take for example, even in your breath that you are noticing. While you are noticing your breath and it's changing and it's arising and passing away, and while you are noting at it, as if the breath is like squeezing your nose and it's really pulls and it twists and it turns there. While you're observing it, you're not controlling it at any time at all, but it's just going to show you something like this. Or you watch your rising and falling, for example, although it's arising and passing away, but that behind that is like twisting you, like when you twist your laundry by hand, and you want to twist it to make it dry, and then you twist it again, and you twist and you twist and you twist some more. And while you keep on noting, you keep on twisting, as if like your whole intestine is going to be pasikat, your whole entangled inside there. But when you stop meditating, when you get out of meditation, it's completely gone. Zero, nothing. Everything come back to well and good. And you don't see anything at all. But when you sit down the next sitting you go through, your concentration and your mindfulness all at its optimum level, and then you're going to show you again. You're going to show you again and again and again and again in this way. Your pain, you think that your leg pain is just only pain. Then this time the pain is going to twist some more and pull some more, and it's going to get stronger. And yet at the same time also, the mind also, it's difficult for you to see and difficult for you to sit also. So that's why you call it knowledge of misery. Not just any knowledge. The word is sometimes people don't like use the word misery because they want to kind of like butter the whole thing, make it nice, but it's actually not nice. Actually, it's strong. And then here, when it goes, you think that number 7 is strong. When you come to number 8 now, when the knowledge of, again, you use the knowledge of disenchantment, it's not strong enough. The word disgust, I think, is much more stronger and is related to what you are observing. Disgust here means that now you see this arising and passing away, you see this twisting and turning and going on and on. And then this time you really get disgusted with the whole phenomena of this mind and body, these 5 aggregates. You get so disgusted about it. The moment you sit down, you don't want to meditate. But you still need to. You know that the only way is to go back there and keep noting it. Yeah. You go back there and you keep noting it again and again and again and again, no matter how difficult it is. This time, as if like every time you meditate, you want to vomit like that. Every time you meditate, now your mind, your head also stressful, your body also stressful. I mean, these are perception of dukkha. But this time, although I make it so dramatic, but the thing is that some people will feel even more stronger than what I say. Some people feel it less than what I've said. Why is that so? Why is that so that different people have different perception of this, of when the impact of that knowledge impact on the mind? Then again here, you must look into your life. If you are a person, for example, enjoying like the Chinese New Year lah, happy lah, you want to be happy this and happy, and then you want to have a lot of blissful one, then your knowledge on particularly on dukkha one is going to go longer for you. It's going to go longer because it needs to change that wrong perception of blissfulness, of pleasantness. So if you are very attached to everything that is beautiful, attached to all kinds of family and nice things, and you want to have pleasant weather, you want everything pleasant in your life, you want to think of pleasant things, smell pleasant, hear pleasant. Now that is where this perception, this knowledge is going to be impactful on you stronger. Some people on the opposite end, they don't have a lot of this attachment. So this knowledge, they go through on it a bit more faster than you. That the impact is not so strong, because here, as I said earlier on, the perception of dukkha is to counter the wrong perception of what is pleasant and what is blissful. So if you are attached to all these things, then your perception of dukkha is going to go longer. So celebrate lah, Chinese New Year. Go lah, go kai kai, go happy and all that. You see lah, when you come to meditate that time, here lah, you wait for it. Then Bhante said, Bhante, how come my so much dukkha one? It's not my fault. I only can guide you. I only can guide you on the right path, but you have to go and suffer lah. But it's okay to this suffering, this little suffering only. So, if you think that this disgust is not so strong, I mean, makes your, even that time, earlier part, when your meditation, you can sit 1 hour, walking 1 hour, sitting 1 hour, walking 1 hour. That one sun kia, it can go very easily. But this time, even 1 hour, so you cannot sit. You're going to twist here and there, moving here, the body here and there. But you can still meditate. No, the mindfulness is still developing. It's just that here is very blur the whole knowledge. All this, when it comes to 7, 8, 9, the knowledge is very blur. You do not know what you are going through. You know you are suffering inside there only. You know you are supposed to know, but you are suffering inside there. You can't even differentiate what is 7, what is 8, what is 9. And if you cannot differentiate, doesn't matter. As long as you keep on suffering, then it's good. Then it's good. It's very hard to, as over here, it's very hard to teach. Here is where, again, at this part here, 6, 7, 8, is where a lot of yogis, they roll up the carpet already, they kulong tika already, they say goodbye already, no more vipassana. Because it's difficult. If you don't have the right teacher, if you don't have the right resolution, if you don't have the right adhitthana, then your resolution and your path is going to be, you're going to waver. If you're very attached to all your beautiful things and so on, you're nice, everything very nice, you're going to waver. You're not going to stay on with that path. Because this vipassana is going to, if you're not strong enough, you're going to filter you out from the path. You're going to send you back to the world again. Yeah. So you have to have a lot of resolution. Although we talk about it, knowledge only, but what the impact that comes together with it is very strong. The whole purpose of that strong dukkha, again, is to counter your strong attachment and your strong attachment to pleasantness and bliss. So, when you see this knowledge of disenchantment and disgust, and you're totally disgust with it, then the next knowledge is called the knowledge of desire for deliverance. The knowledge of desire for deliverance, this is a genuine knowledge in a genuine wish that you really want to get out of this samsara. Previously, while you are not, before you do this vipassana, and before you come to this knowledge of desire of deliverance, your wish of getting out of samsara, it's very fickle. It's very over the counter only. In the sense that they are very light and very not really true yet. In the sense that, again, because here you said you want to get out of samsara, I want to get out of samsara. But when it comes to Chinese New Year, you totally forget about getting out of samsara. You want to stay in samsara. Or when it comes to any celebration, you want to stay with it. Then after that, 2 weeks later, chap gome later, then only think about getting out of samsara again. Still very fickle, your desire towards getting out of samsara. But when it comes to knowledge number 10, knowledge number 9, that one is real one. That one, because of you see a lot of all this dukkha again and again, then that knowledge of desire for deliverance, then it's getting very genuine, very sincere. You really want to get out of this samsara. You cannot want to see all this arising and passing away again and again. What next? Now, when it comes to knowledge number 10, the knowledge number 10 is knowledge of reflection or reobservation. The word reobservation is a better word because what are you reobserving? Here, you're going to reobserve anicca, dukkha, anatta again. Now, you're going to see anicca, dukkha, anatta in its deeper form, in its stronger, in a deeper and stronger impact to you. And especially at number 10, at knowledge number 10 here, your dukkha will be at its strongest. The mother of all dukkha. Now, when it comes to knowledge number 10, that time the dukkha is very, very significant to you. in the sense that as long as you are mindful, even you have a little bit of mindfulness at this time, although what is a little bit at that time, it's a very, very strong mindfulness already. It looks like you're having a mild mindfulness, but it's very deep. Even while you're walking, the moment you become mindful and concentrated, you already feel the dukkha in the body, in the leg, and the head already. And you may think that your whole faculties is imbalanced, but actually your faculties are very balanced. It's just that it is painful and it's stressful and difficult to walk also. And not only that, when you come down again to the sitting, the dukkha is even more stronger. While it's changing, while it's arising and passing away, it is so strong, so very, it is excruciating. Yeah. So you got to bear with it. Yeah. As I said, the dukkha partner is a very difficult for us to go through because of our attachment. So you got to bear up with it. This one, the reobservation part here, the knowledge of reobservation part. A lot of yogis during this time, they cannot sit even 45 minutes, even half an hour, so they already move their body already. They cannot sit still. They cannot walk still also. Previously, at the knowledge of arising and passing away, you can walk very smoothly. Things are, your mind is very easy. And when you come to knowledge, then here, somewhere, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, there'll be a lot of times that doubt comes up in the yogi, because as if like you're seeing no more road, you're seeing no more path, everything is just dukkha only. You think that you are reaching to the end of, you do not know what you are going through already. Because this time, if you don't have a teacher to guide you, it's going to be difficult. Your skeptical doubt about the progress of insight. And here the doubt here is that you only see a lot of dukkha, and you do not know how come in the past I can sit easily for 1 hour, I can walk easily for 1 hour, I can meditate the whole day and day after day. And here right now, I can't even sit for 1 hour, I can't even walk for 1 hour. It also wrong. The moment I'm mindful, here pain. The moment I want to wash my clothing, if I'm mindful, also pain. How something wrong with my meditation? Is exactly the nature of reobservation. Exactly, it kind of show you, or any of this perception of dukkha. So it is strong, it is powerful. So you make sure that your resolution is perfect, or your faith towards the Dhamma is strong. Because if as long as you're mindful, as long as you're alert, it will only guide you to one path. It will guide you to the end only. Although as if like you don't see any more road in front of you. Yeah? You got to trust that mindfulness. You got to trust completely your noting mind, and you just have to push through. This is how you have to meditate. Yeah? You have to rely on your mindfulness this time. Okay? So this is knowledge of reobservation. It's a very difficult. So here, as I said, knowledge 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here they're going to show you the different way of dukkha. When we talk about this dukkha, when we talk about the first noble truth, dukkha, then you have viparinama dukkha due to change, and the third one is sankhara dukkha. Sankhara dukkha means the dukkha due to formation, due to these 5 aggregates. So when we talk about this 5, 6, 7, the knowledge of from fearfulness to reobservation, so these 3 dukkha, it's very obvious inside here. It's very obvious. Again here, you may not see it, you may not able to categorize it. Only what you feel that time is only dukkha only. All right. So, even the first, that's why, as I said, that one is more important for us to understand the three types of dukkha, because there are three types of dukkha. When we learn in the first noble truth, that one is applied in this knowledge of fearfulness and knowledge of reobservation. Huh? All right. So now you come to the next milestone, the knowledge of equanimity towards formation. Yeah? Now this one is you're at the doorstep of Nibbana already. Yeah? Doorstep of Nibbana. Here the knowledge of equanimity of formations. Here the word again, formation, again related to 5 aggregates. And again, when you say they're related to 5 aggregates, it also equals to arising and passing away. Right? Yeah, arising and passing away. So this time, your mind is absolutely balanced, very powerful. Then this time, your momentum, your faculties becomes as if like balance again. Anytime that you are mindful, you're alert, your concentration will drill into the 5 aggregates. It will penetrate, your wisdom will start penetrate, and you see it. This time, all this arising and passing away, and how it changed from one way to another, and one pattern to another pattern, then this time you will see it as you will see it as total equanimity. The mind is not affected by that pain. Previously, your pain is affecting you and it's difficult for you to bear. But you bear through. And until you come to this knowledge of equanimity, you begin to see all this pain and all this arising, passing away with a very steady mind. The mind is so steady, so balanced, and it's not affected by no matter how pain it is, how painful it is. It's not affected at all. Previously, your pain can be excruciating, but this time excruciating is that it's still excruciating, but your mind is not affected at all. And here again, when it comes to the knowledge of equanimity of formation, if you think back, let's say some thinking comes in about the past, and the memory of that past, that it gives rise to a lot of happiness, a lot of joy. And this time, when you are at this knowledge, when you look at that thoughts or memory, then that memory is just memory only. That happiness is no more there. It's just only equanimity. It's not your mind is not affected, although it is so happy. You may reflect back. Oh, you see that Chinese New Year that time, I'm so happy at that time, But this time, you look at it, it's just passing through only. It's just a thought that passing through only, and it doesn't affect you at all. Or, on the other hand, if you have going through a certain memory again, and this time a lot of memory give you sadness, give you anxiety, give you a lot of unpleasant, you just want to shut it down, in the past. But this time when it arises again, that type of memory, you see it with equanimity only. That time the sadness, the anxiety cannot affect you at all, because you are protected by that equanimity and mindfulness. So your mind cannot able to, the buffer is so strong that it cannot change its pH so much. No matter how much acid you put on it, or how much alkaline water you put into it, it doesn't affect at all. It just stay like that. So you have a very strong buffer at this moment of time. Then only you are ready for Nibbana. Sometimes people thought that all this nibbana thing, you must be so happy, then you meditate, you're so happy, nibbana liao. No lah. The doorway of nibbana comes with equanimity. Yeah? You begin at equanimity. Now, here, knowledge number 1 again, to knowledge number 11, all these knowledges, they repeat again and again and again and again, meaning that when you're seeing this mind and matter, knowledge of discernment of mind and matter, it's a repetition again and again and again and again, in order to mature that particular knowledge. Number 2 also, again, you see it again and again and again and again, until knowledge number 11. The knowledge repeated itself again and again in order to mature that particular knowledge. All right? So 1 to 11 is this. Number 12, 13, 14, and 15, these are single consciousness. It comes as a single consciousness already. Number 12, 13, 14, 15. Number 16, we don't talk about it. 16 is after we come out of Nibbana. So when we comes to number 12, 13, 14, 15, it's only a single consciousness only. Although it's a single consciousness, we also put it as a knowledge. We're going to put it as knowledge also. Now, how does one enter? How does one realize Nibbana then? Since already almost 10, but we give you a bit of this one. You know that day last week again when we introduced on the cessation of dukkha, on the third noble truth. Then I said that there's one part, the triple gateway of liberation. Okay, the triple gateway of liberation. How one attained by signless liberation. Then you have desireless liberation. You have void liberation. Okay. Now here at number 11, going towards number 12, 13, 14, before it reached to number 12, this is when your knowledge of equanimity will speed up. It will speed up. When it speeds up, that means you see this arising and passing away much more faster than you see it before. When you see it before. When the Buddha says, sometimes you all read that when the consciousness passed through, then you say, a million consciousness already passed through. We cannot count how much consciousness already passed through. For us, we don't have to see all this consciousness or whether it's a million consciousness passed through or how many consciousness passed through. It's not important. We only need to see how this arising and passing away, whether it's connected with consciousness, connected with the body, as long as it's arising and passing away, and we see how fast it changes right now, then it is enough. We don't have to see. But while you understand at this moment how this speed up, how this consciousness speed up, or how this 5 aggregates speed up itself, then that time, what the Buddha says, as a consciousness, so many consciousness passing through within a second, within the blink of an eye, then you should come to that, you can relate what the Buddha said. But anyway, we come back to here. Now, at the knowledge of equanimity here, knowledge of equanimity here, as I said, when it speeds up, that is where the speeding up and how you see this arising and passing away. Now, this one, it becomes your triple door towards liberation. The triple door lies here at the knowledge of equanimity, at the maturity of that knowledge of equanimity. The triple door, again, as I said, that if you see this arising and passing away, and you see it as impermanent. You see it again arises and passes away, arises and passes away. Then at the end, when the maturity comes in, then path and fruition takes place. The knowledge, and also nibbana, you will soon realize nibbana. And then when the knowledge of equanimity starts to picks up, and you see this arising and passing away as something very oppressive and something very ugly and something very terrible, then when maturity of the of that knowledge, then you will come again to see nibbana, and here we call it the desireless liberation, the impermanence one, the signless liberation. And again, if you see this knowledge of equanimity as something is not yours, something is conditional, arising, passing away, and you have no control over it, it just arises and passes away on its own, then when it comes to liberation, then you'll see it as void liberation. Again here, as I said, on last week, those who who enter nibbana through the perception of impermanence, then those who are strong in faith, their faith is strong, and those who enter through the door of dukkha, then their concentration or their tranquility is strong. And then if the panya is strong, they go through by the door of anatta. They go through anatta and liberation takes place. So the knowledge of equanimity here, if you can get maturity from here, then enlightenment takes place. Now, if you cannot get maturity, if you cannot mature at this moment, what do you do? Well, you keep on meditating, because there are people. There are people. Like for example, there's one talk. We talk about how come there are people who meditate but cannot get enlightened. Because they got all kinds of adhitthana. They got all kinds of. They want to see the Buddha in the next life. They want to have this and that. Although they can meditate, so they cannot go more than that already. So at the knowledge of equanimity, it's already stopped. They won't go into enlightenment. That's why it cannot get matured. So if they hold on to that adhitthana, or this one, that one is somewhere in the one of the Q&A session. There are people who can get enlightened in this life, who cannot get enlightened in this life. Why cannot get enlightened in this life? Then this is one of the reasons. At equanimity of information, they get stuck there. Before we go into before we go into 12, 13, which we're going to talk about it in the next talk. But before we go, then this knowledge number 9, number 10, and number 11, they are, when you are there, when you are going through it, it looks the same. The observation looks the same. What you see in the rising and passing away, it looks the same. But in the sense that they are different, because you feel them certain things that you're going to feel, you feel them differently. In the sense that you're going to feel a desire for deliverance. But what you're observing is the same as the next, and the number 10, and also at the number 11. So at this 9, 10, 11, sometimes yogis keep on repeating the knowledge again and again and again and again. And then at that knowledge, and these knowledges here, they think that they are not progressing very far. Because this time, I keep on repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. Sometimes for years, it can go on repetition here. So sometimes they ask, but Bhante, is he enlightened, Bhante? How do I going to know? How I'm going to know? How I'm going to know when the enlightenment is going to be? This is not my area. I don't go and lose sleep over whether you get enlightened or not. My job is just to make sure that you meditate on the rightly. Whatever you're going to get enlightened, that is up to you already. It is up to your practice and up to your perseverance and so on already. My job is to make sure that you keep on going on it and you keep on going on the right way. So we come to this knowledge of equanimity of formation. So if you are able to mature, then you're going to go through one of the doorway of liberation, then the path and fruition is being known. So before we talk about 12 and 13, which we're going to elaborate a little bit more on the next talk. All right. So we'll stop here for tonight. All right.